I might need to move to Atlantis.
How Tuchel's masterclass beat Guardiola again, Chelsea won, Manchester City 0, a tactical analysis. Before I get into the analysis, let me tell you about the OneFootball app, because this is the app I use to keep up to date with the latest circulating transfer rumours, and I find the match section on the app incredibly useful as well for looking at matches, clubs and players that I'm not able to watch on a regular basis. If you like this channel, you'll definitely love this app, so when you go to subscribe to the channel, if you enjoy the content, which would be very much appreciated, make sure you click the link in the description to get the OneFootball app as well. So going into the game, Guardiola set up his Manchester City side in a 4-3-3 system, with Ederson in goal, Stones and Diaz the usual centre-back pairing, with Walker and Zinchenko either side at full-back. Gundogan started in front of the back line as the deep single pivot, with Foden and Bernardo Silva sitting ahead of him as 3/8. Mahrez started on the right flank, Sterling on the left and De Bruyne played as the false 9. Tuchel set up his Chelsea side in his usual 3-4-3 system, with Mendy in goal, a back three of Azpilicueta and Rudiger either side of Thiago Silva, Chilwell and Reece James the wing-backs, with Jorginho and Kante playing as a double pivot in midfield, as Mount and Havertz started in behind Timo Werner. So the talk at the start of the game was about Guardiola's decision not to play either Rodri or Fernandinho in the starting 11, and just looking at the game on paper, it's obvious to see why he did this. We knew Chelsea were going to sit deep and allow City to control possession, and so I think Pep wanted to have Sterling and Mahrez on the flanks, and also have the added creativity of Foden alongside Bernardo Silva as 3/8. With Gundogan in that deeper position, in theory City would have a better deep line creative player than they would have had if Fernandinho or Rodri had started in that position. From the first whistle, we saw this pattern of play begin to play out, as City's 4-3-3 system quickly shifted to a 3-1-5-1 in possession, with Walker dropping deep to create a wide back three, as Gundogan held that deep single pivot position. But interestingly, we saw Zinchenko not just play as a deep inverted fullback as he usually does, pushing in field to create a double pivot in midfield, but in this game he advanced higher up the field in a central position, creating a 3 ahead of Gundogan, with a 3 of Bernardo Silva, Foden and Zinchenko looking to push up in behind Jorginho and Kante between the lines of the Chelsea system, with Mahrez and Sterling stretching the Chelsea back 5 by holding their advanced width in the attack. Chelsea defended in a 5-2-3 shape, with Chilwell and James dropping a lot deeper than they usually do when Chelsea look to usually press aggressively. The front three remained incredibly narrow, and Jorginho and Kante pushed up the field to create a vertically compact press. Now we can see why Guardiola chose to use this different possession shape, as the idea of having 3 players in Foden, Bernardo Silva and Zinchenko sitting between the lines, this would in theory open up these passing lanes wide of Kante and Jorginho. However, Chelsea nullified City's ability to work the ball into these half spaces through 3 different features of their defensive play. Tuchel's side were content to allow City's back 3 to circulate the ball, instead only pressing when the ball moved into their own half, as Havertz and Mount either side of Werner were tasked with sitting in field, creating a narrow pentagon front 5 and cutting off the passing lane into the City advanced midfielders. Here you can see that if Havertz is positioned slightly wider, there is a direct passing lane opened up for Diaz into Zinchenko in this area, but because of Havertz's very intelligent and coordinated positioning, Zinchenko is forced to drift out wide here and therefore receive the ball in front of Chelsea's midfield unit in a much less threatening position. With Chelsea sitting deep in the middle third, this also allowed them to be vertically compact, with Kante and Jorginho not only close to the front 3 but also close to the back 3, thereby closing off the space between the lines. Also, when any of the City players did manage to find space in behind Chelsea's midfield, the wide centre-backs for Chelsea, Rudiger and Azpilicueta, were very assertive with pushing out from the back line to man-to-man press these players and close off these spaces. This therefore meant that Chelsea retained a vertically and horizontally compact shape, cutting the passing lanes in field and forcing City to play down the channels wide of Havertz and Mount. However, we did see a potential opening for City, and it came from a more direct route when Ederson played a fantastic pass over the Chelsea backline, finding Sterling's diagonal run off of Reece James, leading to a half chance, which certainly showed the threat that City have through Ederson's passing and Sterling's movement. But despite defending deep, Chelsea had an attacking punch. Unlike City, Chelsea were transitioning their attacks a lot quicker through looking to play more direct passes forward, specifically long balls over the top of City's back line down the left for Chilwell and Werner's runs, and within the first 15 minutes, Chelsea created 2 excellent chances down this side. The first came from John Stones, scuffing a clearance from a long ball straight to Havertz. Havertz and Mount then worked the ball brilliantly down the left, and Havertz's cutback was perfect for Werner, but he couldn't sort his feet out and the chance was wasted. Less than 5 minutes later, Chelsea won the ball back with a Mount interception. They then transitioned the attack quickly down that left side with a Chilwell dribble and managed to work the ball into the box, with Mount playing the pass into Werner, who once again couldn't sort out his feet, releasing a tame shot into Ederson's body from a fantastic position inside of the box. City did start out pressing in a 4-3-3, 4-1-4-1 kind of shape, with De Bruyne leading the press, and this was effective at stopping Chelsea being able to play out of the back, and it did force them long. The narrowness and advanced positioning of City's front line and midfield meant that Chelsea's only real outlets were the wing-backs, and when a pass would be played out to them, this was a trigger for Zinchenko and Walker to squeeze up the pitch, looking to pen Chelsea into their respective flanks. But despite City's press being effective, when Chelsea were able to break through the first line press or transition the attack quickly after a turnover, we would see Chelsea get at City's backline quite easily, and we saw this with Havertz's goal. So once again, City press high, leaving Mendy to play a lofted pass out to Chilwell. We see here that Walker has pushed up the pitch to apply the pressure, which means that when Chilwell plays a first-time pass into Mount, half the City team has been taken out of the game. Despite Werner wasting 2 chances earlier on in the half, here he creates one. Someone like Giroud as a centre forward would have dropped deep here to receive the ball to feet, which would have allowed Diaz to retain a central position, and therefore not creating that space for Havertz's run. Werner's run is very intelligent as it drags Diaz over to that left side, and Havertz showcases why he makes such a good second striker as he sees the opening and makes the early run inside Zinchenko, who doesn't read Havertz's run inside of him at all. Mount's through ball is then perfectly weighted, and once Havertz is through on goal, he's able to go around the keeper with a deflection and finish into the empty net, taking Chelsea into the break at 1-0. I will come on to the role that the absence of Rudiger and Fernandinho played in the Havertz goal later on, but before I do, remember to not only subscribe to this channel, but also my new non-football channel which I've just created and will be uploading content to very soon. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So in the second half, the game followed a similar pattern. City didn't have any space in between the lines, and so it was just them really circulating the ball from side to side without any penetration. One of their best moments of ball progression though came when Jesus and Fernandinho were on the pitch, and it came from a few quick passes. Jesus draws Rudiger out of the back line, lays off the pass from Fernandinho onto the on-running Foden, who drives the attack forward into the box. And Mahrez then puts in a very good low cross across the box, which was cut out just in time by Azpilicueta, who like Rudiger was excellent throughout the whole game, with both players making crucial goal-saving blocks. Pep did bring on Aguero and moved to a front 2 shape, with Walker and Zinchenko now being instructed to push forward down the flanks, creating a 2-3-3-2 shape, with Mahrez and Foden then being allowed to move in field from the flanks and look to pick up the ball between the lines. However, Manchester City still face the same problems. They didn't transition the attack quickly enough after there was a turnover, and so Chelsea were able to get back behind the ball and create that vertically and horizontally compact shape. We saw against PSG that City can transition the attack quickly, as in that game they were playing direct vertical passes into De Bruyne's feet and getting the likes of Foden and Mahrez to make runs off of him, and this was where Mahrez' second goal in the second leg came from. And if you want more details on how City went into that game, I'll leave that analysis linked in the description below with my other videos as well. But Kante and Jorginho have to be given credit as both showed incredible positional intelligence, knowing when to drop deeper, when to shuffle across, and also timing their tackles perfectly as well. This was something that City lacked with no Rodri or Fernandinho in the first half, and we can see this if we analyse that Chelsea goal again. See, the ball gets switched over to Chilwell, but Gundogan does not shift it over to that side quickly enough. He seems to be playing as a left-sided central midfielder with this sort of positioning, but his role was as a single pivot with Foden and Bernardo Silva sitting ahead of him. Therefore, he has to read the danger and get over to confront Mount as soon as he receives the ball. If Rodri and in particular Fernandinho were on the pitch, you have to feel that they would have handled this situation a lot better, getting over to confront Mount quicker and potentially being able to stop him being able to play that through ball for Havertz's run. Nevertheless, Tuchel deserves immense credit for completely shutting down Guardiola again. The 3-4-3 system, which becomes a 5-2-3 out of possession, has been almost flawless since he came in. Since Tuchel came in, Chelsea have played 19 games in the Premier League and have the lowest expected goals against rate in the whole league with just 11.7, substantially less than second place Brighton, who recorded a rate of 16.09, and third place Manchester City with a rate of 16.89. I may do a video analysing this system in more depth, then you may want to check out one of Tuchel's early games in charge against Mourinho's Tottenham that I did a tactical analysis video on a while back, so you can see how Tuchel's 3-4-3 system has or hasn't changed over the last few months. That video, of course, linked in the description and in the eye above. But without doubt, Chelsea deserved not just to win this game, but probably the Champions League overall, as their system is perfectly suited to knockout football. Very reminiscent of Mourinho's 2011-2012 Real Madrid side, which like Tuchel's Chelsea was based on a deep compact defensive unit and a rapid counter-attack, and this would be a great structure for Chelsea to build on next season. And if you are wondering who I think Chelsea should be targeting in the summer, check out my Chelsea transfer series, which like the other videos of course, linked in the description eye above. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, check the description, and follow my non-football account which I've just created and will be uploading videos to very soon.